He must increase, I must decrease. That's John 3:30. Those were the humble words of John the Baptist referring to Jesus as his own followers were leaving him to follow Jesus. And John had always had a ministry of baptism for repentance, but Jesus ended up being baptized by John the Baptist, but he still pointed people back to Jesus. Now, I've been going through an exchange on Facebook with someone dear to me that, pretty much hates me right now because of something I shared talking about the demonic origins of yoga. I've spoken about it the last few days. It sucks. It's not a fun experience, but my reason for sharing that and things of that nature are because ultimately I want to point people to Jesus. And I know that may sound off to people who don't understand the spiritual underpinnings of this world, and I don't mean that to knock anyone. There's a very good reason many don't see it. It is hidden in plain sight, but it's very hard to see, and sometimes I wish I had not been exposed to some of the things that I have, but I realized that was part of God's plan for me in the walk that I am on, and discernment is one of those things. It is not fun to expose things that this world props up. It's not fun to go against culture when you know people are not going to like you for it. But ultimately, it took me going down some very dark rabbit holes to see that at the bottom of those trails, the forces were all lined up against Jesus. That's the one name they don't want shouted from the rooftops. That's the one name they don't want people to hear to come to ultimate salvation and peace from the things that are being thrust on us in this world. Now, 1 Corinthians 4:12 says, "And we labor, working with our own hands. When reviled, we bless. When persecuted, we endure." Phil Wickham has a new song called The Jesus Way. It gets into this stuff. Those things are much easier said than done. They're not easy. When it's people close to you, it is easy because they may not want it. They may not want to receive that love or to hear what's being shared. But when the purpose is to share the gospel or to expose evil of this world that has been disguised as light or some sort of false path to enlightenment that keeps you from ever turning to Jesus, those things need to be exposed. And those things are usually the things that provoke the most animosity and anger. But those are to be expected. We were warned of these things. 2 Corinthians 11:3-4, "But I am afraid that as the serpent deceived Eve by his cunning, your thoughts will be led astray from a sincere and pure devotion to Christ. For if someone comes and proclaims another Jesus than the one we proclaimed, or if you receive a different spirit from the one you received, or if you accept a different gospel from the one you accepted, you put up with it readily enough." Even in the church today, people, self-proclaimed Christians, are accepting a lot of things that are compromised, that have been invited into the church, because a lot of people have put themselves before Christ. People have reached out to me the last few days, some people on my side, and then some people in the comments clearly not. And I appreciate the support, but I don't want to draw people to my side. I truly only want people to be pointed to Jesus. I want people to be on the side of Jesus and not of this world. You can't have both. You truly can, as much as I wish you could. This world is falling apart. We are but a drop in the ocean. Our life is a drop in the ocean of eternity, and eternity is waiting for us, and there will be judgment. So we're going to have to answer for all of the decisions we made here. And if you know Jesus, you've got an advocate. But if you reject Jesus because of all the bad examples out there and all the deceptive spirits in the world trying to pull you away from him, you will have to answer for that. And that's why we share. So anyway, less of me, more of him. Praise Jesus. God bless you. See you tomorrow.